Visit parthikachana.com for technology resources and stock analysis. Intermediate prompt engineering interview questions. 1. How do you approach crafting prompts for complex or ambiguous tasks? Answer. When dealing with complex or ambiguous tasks, I break down the problem into smaller, more manageable components. I then create prompts that address each component individually, ensuring clarity and specificity. I also leverage techniques like few-shot learning or providing examples to guide the model towards the desired outcome. 2. Explain the concept of few-shot learning and how it can be applied in prompt engineering. Answer. Few-shot learning involves training a model on a small dataset of examples, allowing it to generalize to new, unseen tasks. In prompt engineering, this can be applied by providing a few relevant examples or prompts along with the target task. The model can then use these examples to understand the context and generate appropriate responses. 3. What are some strategies for dealing with model hallucinations or incorrect outputs? Answer. To mitigate model hallucinations, I employ several strategies. Fact-checking. I verify the generated outputs against reliable sources to ensure accuracy. Iterative refinement. I provide more specific or detailed prompts to guide the model towards the correct response. Negative prompting. I explicitly instruct the model to avoid certain outcomes or information. Model selection. If the current model is prone to hallucinations, I consider using a different model with better capabilities. 4. How do you evaluate the quality of a prompt and its generated output? Answer. I evaluate prompt quality and generated output using a combination of metrics. Relevance. Does the output align with the prompt's intent and provide relevant information? Accuracy. Is the output factually correct and free from errors? Coherence. Is the output well-structured, logical, and easy to understand? Creativity. Does the output demonstrate originality and thoughtfulness? Human evaluation. I also involve human experts to assess the quality of the output from a subjective perspective. 5. How can you use prompt engineering to address biases in language models? Answer. To mitigate biases in language models, I employ several techniques. Diverse datasets. Ensure the model is trained on diverse and representative data to avoid perpetuating biases. Diverse prompts. Craft prompts that challenge stereotypes and promote inclusivity. Bias detection. Use tools and techniques to identify and address biases in the model's outputs. Human oversight. Involve human experts to review and correct biased outputs. 6. Explain the concept of prompt chaining and how it can be used to generate more complex outputs. Answer. Prompt chaining involves using the output of one prompt as the input for another prompt, creating a chain of prompts that can generate more complex or detailed outputs. This technique can be used to generate stories, essays, or even code by combining multiple prompts. 7. How can you use prompt engineering to generate creative and original content? Answer. To generate creative and original content, I employ several strategies. Unconventional prompts. Use prompts that are unexpected or unconventional to stimulate creativity. Experimentation. Try different prompt formats, styles, and techniques to explore new possibilities. Negative prompting. Use negative prompts to avoid common or predictable outcomes. Iterative refinement. Continuously refine and improve prompts based on the generated outputs. 8. What are some best practices for writing effective prompts for code generation tasks? Answer. When writing prompts for code generation, I follow these best practices. Clarity and specificity. Provide clear and concise instructions, avoiding ambiguity. Contextual information. Include relevant context or examples to guide the model. Constraints. Specify any constraints or requirements, such as programming language, libraries, or algorithms. Iterative refinement. Continuously refine the prompt based on the generated code to improve accuracy and efficiency. 9. How can you use prompt engineering to improve the quality of machine translations? Answer. To improve machine translations, I employ several techniques. Contextual information. Provide additional context, such as the topic or domain of the text, to enhance translation accuracy. Back translation. Translate the generated output back into the original language to identify errors and inconsistencies. Human evaluation. Involve human translators to assess the quality of the generated translations. 10. How can you use prompt engineering to create personalized experiences for users? Answer. To create personalized experiences, I leverage user data and preferences to tailor prompts. User-specific information. Incorporate relevant user information, such as interests, demographics, or past behavior. Contextual understanding. Consider the user's current context, such as their location or device. A/B testing. Experiment with different prompts to identify the most effective ones for specific users. 11. How can you use prompt engineering to improve the efficiency of language models? Answer. To improve the efficiency of language models, I focus on prompt optimization. Craft concise and informative prompts that minimize ambiguity and reduce computational costs. Model selection. Choose the most appropriate model for the task based on its capabilities and efficiency. Batch processing. Process multiple prompts together in batches to improve throughput. Hardware optimization. Leverage specialized hardware such as GPUs or TPUs to accelerate model execution. 12. What are some common pitfalls to avoid in prompt engineering? Answer. Common pitfalls to avoid in prompt engineering include over-reliance on templates. Avoid relying solely on templates or predefined prompts, as they may limit creativity and flexibility. Lack of experimentation. Avoid sticking to the same prompts without trying different approaches or techniques. Ignoring context. Fail to consider the context and relevance of the prompt to the task. Neglecting feedback. Avoid neglecting feedback from users or experts, as it can help improve prompt quality. 13. How can you use prompt engineering to generate diverse and unbiased outputs? Answer. To generate diverse and unbiased outputs, I focus on diverse datasets. Ensure the model is trained on diverse and representative data. Diverse prompts. Craft prompts that challenge stereotypes and promote inclusivity. Bias detection. Use tools and techniques to identify and address biases in the model's outputs. Human oversight. Involve human experts to review and correct biased outputs. 14. How can you use prompt engineering to create interactive and engaging experiences? Answer. To create interactive and engaging experiences, I focus on conversational prompts. Craft prompts that encourage dialogue and interaction. Personalized prompts. Tailor prompts to individual users based on their preferences and interests. Gamification. Incorporate game-like elements, such as rewards or challenges, to make the experience more engaging. 15. How can you use prompt engineering to generate creative and original content in specific domains, e.g., art, music, writing? Answer. To generate creative content in specific domains, I focus on domain-specific knowledge. Incorporate relevant domain knowledge into the prompts. Example prompts. Provide examples of the desired output style or format. Constraints. Specify any constraints or limitations, such as genre, style, or theme. Iterative refinement. Continuously refine the prompts based on the generated content to improve quality and originality. 16. How can you use prompt engineering to generate different writing styles? Answer. To generate different writing styles, I focus on style prompts. Provide specific instructions or examples of the desired style, such as formal, informal, persuasive, or creative. Contextual clues. Incorporate contextual clues or references to guide the model towards a particular style. Model selection. Choose a model that is well suited for the desired style, such as one trained on a corpus of that specific style. 17. How can you use prompt engineering to generate different tones or moods? Answer. To generate different tones or moods, I focus on emotional prompts. Provide prompts that evoke specific emotions, such as happiness, sadness, anger, or fear. Contextual cues. Incorporate contextual cues or references that align with the desired tone or mood. Model selection. Choose a model that is well suited for the desired tone or mood, such as one trained on a corpus of emotional texts. 18. How can you use prompt engineering to generate different genres of writing? Answer. To generate different genres of writing, I focus on genre-specific prompts. Provide prompts that are specific to the desired genre, such as science fiction, fantasy, mystery, or historical fiction. Contextual clues. Incorporate contextual clues or references that align with the genre. Model selection. Choose a model that is well suited for the desired genre, such as one trained on a corpus of texts from that genre. 19. How can you use prompt engineering to generate different levels of formality? Answer. To generate different levels of formality, I focus on formality prompts. Provide prompts that specify the desired level of formality, such as formal, informal, or casual. Contextual clues. Incorporate contextual clues or references that align with the desired level of formality. Model selection. Choose a model that is well suited for the desired level of formality, such as one trained on a corpus of texts from that formality level. 20. How can you use prompt engineering to generate different lengths of text? Answer. To generate different lengths of text, I focus on length prompts. Provide prompts that specify the desired length, such as a short paragraph, a long essay, or a poem. Contextual clues. Incorporate contextual clues or references that suggest the appropriate length. Model selection. Choose a model that is capable of generating text of the desired length, such as one trained on a corpus of texts of varying lengths. 21. How can you use prompt engineering to generate different target audiences? Answer. To generate different target audiences, I focus on audience prompts. Provide prompts that specify the desired target audience, such as children, teenagers, adults, or professionals. Contextual clues. Incorporate contextual clues or references that align with the desired target audience. Model selection. Choose a model that is well suited for the desired target audience, such as one trained on a corpus of texts that are relevant to that audience. 22. How can you use prompt engineering to generate different levels of detail? Answer. To generate different levels of detail, I focus on detail prompts. Provide prompts that specify the desired level of detail, such as a summary, a detailed description, or a comprehensive analysis. Contextual clues. Incorporate contextual clues or references that suggest the appropriate level of detail. Model selection. Choose a model that is capable of generating text with the desired level of detail, such as one trained on a corpus of texts with varying levels of detail. 23. How can you use prompt engineering to generate different perspectives? Answer. To generate different perspectives, I focus on perspective prompts. Provide prompts that specify the desired perspective, such as first person, third person, or omniscient. Contextual clues. Incorporate contextual clues or references that align with the desired perspective. Model selection. Choose a model that is well suited for the desired perspective, such as one trained on a corpus of texts from that perspective. 24. How can you use prompt engineering to generate different cultural contexts? Answer. To generate different cultural contexts, I focus on cultural prompts. Provide prompts that specify the desired cultural context, such as a particular country, time period, or social class. Contextual clues. Incorporate contextual clues or references that align with the desired cultural context. Model selection. Choose a model that is well suited for the desired cultural context, such as one trained on a corpus of texts from that culture. 25. How can you use prompt engineering to generate different themes or topics? Answer. To generate different themes or topics, I focus on topic prompts. Provide prompts that specify the desired theme or topic, such as love, loss, friendship, or adventure. Contextual clues. Incorporate contextual clues or references that align with the desired theme or topic. Model selection. Choose a model that is well suited for the desired theme or topic, such as one trained on a corpus of texts from that theme or topic. 26. How can you use prompt engineering to generate different sensory experiences? Answer. To generate different sensory experiences, I focus on sensory prompts. Provide prompts that evoke specific sensory experiences, such as sight, sound, taste, smell, or touch. Contextual clues. Incorporate contextual clues or references that align with the desired sensory experience. Model selection. Choose a model that is well suited for the desired sensory experience, such as one trained on a corpus of text that describes sensory experiences. 27. How can you use prompt engineering to generate different emotional responses? Answer. To generate different emotional responses, I focus on emotional prompts. Provide prompts that evoke specific emotions, such as happiness, sadness, anger, or fear. Contextual clues. Incorporate contextual clues or references that align with the desired emotional response. Model selection. Choose a model that is well suited for the desired emotional response, such as one trained on a corpus of texts that evoke that emotion. 28. How can you use prompt engineering to generate different levels of complexity? Answer. To generate different levels of complexity, I focus on complexity prompts. Provide prompts that specify the desired level of complexity, such as simple, complex, or sophisticated. Contextual clues. Incorporate contextual clues or references that suggest the appropriate level of complexity. Model selection. Choose a model that is capable of generating text with the desired level of complexity, such as one trained on a corpus of texts with varying levels of complexity. 29. How can you use prompt engineering to generate different levels of abstraction? Answer. To generate different levels of abstraction, I focus on abstraction prompts. Provide prompts that specify the desired level of abstraction, such as general, specific, or detailed. Contextual clues. Incorporate contextual clues or references that suggest the appropriate level of abstraction. Model selection. Choose a model that is capable of generating text with the desired level of abstraction, such as one trained on a corpus of texts with varying levels of abstraction. 30. How do you balance creativity and structure when designing a prompt? Answer. Balancing creativity and structure requires understanding the task's objectives while allowing flexibility for the AI to generate original responses. First, I ensure the prompt is specific enough to guide the model effectively. For instance, I might set clear boundaries for the task or format. Then, I introduce open-ended elements that allow for creative interpretation, such as asking the model to explore different viewpoints, tones, or emotions. Regular testing helps me refine this balance to ensure that the output meets the requirements without being overly constrained. 31. Can you describe a scenario where using examples significantly improved a prompt's output? Answer. I worked on a language translation task where the model struggled to handle idiomatic expressions. By providing a few examples of the correct translations of such idioms, I helped the model better understand the context and how to handle similar phrases in the future. The examples clarified the intent behind the prompt, leading to more accurate and reliable outputs. This shows how examples can serve as a guide for the model to follow when dealing with complex linguistic structures. 32. How would you handle a situation where a model consistently outputs biased results? Answer. In cases of biased outputs, I would start by identifying the source of the bias, which could be in the training data or the way the prompt is framed. One approach is to rephrase the prompt to be more neutral or to explicitly instruct the model to avoid certain biases. Additionally, I would use counter-bias prompts, which are designed to guide the model away from producing biased responses. If necessary, I would use filtering techniques in post-processing to remove biased content from the output. 33. How can you optimize a prompt for a model that generates verbose answers? Answer. To handle verbosity, I would first ensure that the prompt includes clear instructions on the desired length or format of the response. For example, adding a phrase like in 23 sentences or specifying a word limit can help the model focus on brevity. Additionally, framing the prompt as a direct question or request for key information encourages the model to stay concise. Regular testing and iteration would help refine the prompt to consistently generate more focused responses. 34. Explain a situation where refining a prompt iteratively led to a better outcome. Answer. I was once tasked with generating a product description for an e-commerce platform. The initial prompt led to generic and uninspiring text. Through iterative refinement, adjusting the wording, adding examples, and specifying the tone, I was able to guide the model to produce engaging and dynamic descriptions. Each iteration brought the output closer to the client's expectations, ultimately resulting in content that was both informative and appealing. 35. How do you approach crafting a prompt for a multi-step process, such as summarizing and then analyzing text? Answer. For a multi-step process, I often break the task into smaller parts using prompt chaining. First, I design a prompt to handle the initial step, such as summarizing a text. After the model completes the summary, I create a follow-up prompt that takes the summary as input and asks the model to analyze it. This structured approach ensures that the model doesn't become overwhelmed by too many instructions at once and handles each step effectively. 36. What strategies would you use to create a prompt for generating text in a specific writing style? Answer. To generate text in a specific style, I would provide clear examples or descriptors of the desired style in the prompt. For instance, if I need a formal tone, I might specify, write a business letter in a formal tone. Additionally, I could reference well-known examples from literature or professional writing to give the model context. Including stylistic markers such as sentence structure, vocabulary, and tone in the prompt helps steer the model towards the desired output. 37. How do you ensure that a model maintains consistency in a long prompt sequence? Answer. Consistency in a long prompt sequence can be maintained by providing clear instructions at each stage and using placeholders or structured input formats that help the model keep track of context. If I'm working on a dialogue, for example, I would use named entities or labels to remind the model of the participants and their roles. Additionally, regular feedback loops, where the model's output is checked and adjusted for consistency, are crucial in maintaining quality across longer sequences. 38. Describe how you would use prompt engineering to improve a chatbot's ability to handle follow-up questions. Answer. To improve a chatbot's ability to handle follow-up questions, I would craft prompts that encourage the model to remember context from the initial conversation. This can be achieved by appending parts of the previous interaction to the prompt or using markers to signal that a follow-up question is coming. Including instructions like refer to the previous answer when responding helps the model maintain continuity, ensuring it doesn't treat each question in isolation. 39. How would you approach creating a prompt for a creative writing task, such as generating poetry or fictional dialogue? Answer. For creative tasks like poetry or dialogue, I would start by setting the tone and style in the prompt, whether it's romantic, dramatic, or humorous. Providing a theme or a few lines to set the stage can inspire the model and guide its creativity. Additionally, I would give specific instructions about the format, e.g., rhyming scheme for poetry or conversational structure for dialogue. Regular feedback loops would help refine the output to match the desired creative vision. 40. In a scenario where a model fails to understand a complex prompt, how would you revise it? Answer. If a model fails to comprehend a complex prompt, I would first simplify the language and break down the instructions into more manageable steps. Removing ambiguity and specifying the task with clear, concise language helps the model understand better. I may also add examples or reframe the prompt to focus on one key objective at a time. Iteration would then follow, testing different variations to find the most effective wording. 41. How would you use prompt engineering to generate different emotional responses in a story or dialogue? Answer. To generate varied emotional responses, I would use emotional cues directly in the prompt, specifying the desired emotion for the output. For instance, a prompt might say, write a sad dialogue between two friends. Additionally, I could provide context that naturally evokes the target emotion, such as a tragic event for sadness or a triumph for joy. Testing and refining the model's output would help ensure that the emotional tone is consistent with expectations. 42. Can you explain how prompt engineering can help manage ambiguity in tasks? Answer. Managing ambiguity involves crafting prompts that reduce vagueness by providing specific instructions and examples. If a task has multiple possible interpretations, I clarify the goal by asking direct questions or framing the task in a way that leads the model to focus on one aspect. For instance, instead of asking, describe the scene, I might say, describe the scene focusing on the colors and environment. This minimizes ambiguity and steers the model towards a more focused response. 43. How do you deal with overly literal interpretations of prompts by the model? Answer. Overly literal interpretations can be mitigated by rewording prompts to allow more flexibility. I would craft the prompt to be less rigid, using open-ended instructions or encouraging creative interpretation. For example, instead of saying list 3 things, I might ask describe a few important aspects. This allows the model to interpret the prompt more loosely and encourages a more thoughtful or nuanced response. 44. How would you use prompt engineering to guide a model to explore alternative viewpoints in a discussion or a debate? Answer. To guide a model in exploring alternative viewpoints, I would structure the prompt to ask for multiple perspectives. For example, I might use a prompt like, discuss the pros and cons of this issue from different viewpoints. Providing examples of opposing views within the prompt encourages the model to consider alternatives. Additionally, I could include a requirement for balance or ask the model to present each viewpoint with equal weight to avoid bias. 45. What would be your approach to designing a prompt for summarizing a lengthy and complex document? Answer. When summarizing a lengthy document, I would divide the task into sections by instructing the model to summarize each part of the document separately. This makes it easier for the model to manage the information load. I would also specify the key aspects to focus on, such as main arguments or conclusions. To ensure conciseness, I would add instructions like summarize in 34 sentences and test the prompt iteratively to refine the results. 46. How do you ensure that a model maintains the original meaning when rephrasing or summarizing text? Answer. To maintain the original meaning during rephrasing or summarizing, I would emphasize clarity in the prompt by specifying that the summary should retain all key ideas. Including instructions like preserve the original meaning ensures the model understands the goal. I also use examples of accurate rephrasing or summaries to guide the model. Testing different iterations and comparing the outputs to the original text helps confirm that the key points are not lost in translation. 47. Describe how you would use prompt engineering to generate responses that follow specific ethical guidelines. Answer. To generate responses that adhere to ethical guidelines, I would include explicit instructions in the prompt, outlining the ethical considerations to follow. For example, I could specify avoid harmful language or content, or ensure all responses respect privacy and inclusivity. Providing examples of acceptable and unacceptable responses further helps guide the model's behavior. Testing the prompt rigorously ensures that it consistently aligns with the specified ethical standards. 48. How would you approach using prompt engineering to generate content in multiple languages while maintaining context? Answer. To generate content in multiple languages, I would use prompts that provide clear context for each language, specifying cultural nuances or idiomatic expressions. For example, I might say, translate this paragraph into French, keeping the tone formal. I would also use examples to show how certain words or phrases should be handled in different languages. Iterative testing is key to ensuring the translations maintain context and meaning across languages. 49. Can you explain how you would structure a prompt to generate content with a specific cultural context? Answer. To generate content with a specific cultural context, I would embed cultural references, language styles, and situational context within the prompt. For instance, if I need content set in a Japanese cultural context, I might include references to local customs, festivals, or societal norms. I would also provide clear instructions like, write this story from the perspective of someone living in Japan. This approach helps the model understand the cultural nuances and produce more accurate content. 50. How do you adapt a prompt to generate content for different target audiences, such as children versus professionals? Answer. Adapting a prompt for different audiences involves modifying the tone, complexity, and focus of the content. For children, I would use simpler language, playful tones, and engaging visuals, specifying instructions like, explain this concept in a fun and simple way for kids. For professionals, I would opt for a more formal tone, using technical jargon and detailed explanations. Clear audience-specific instructions in the prompt ensure that the output is tailored appropriately. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Visit parthakachana.com for technology resources and stock analysis.